If you want to support the show, please, by all means, with full discretion. If you want to be discreet, cash at me on the block with Jen. If you catch,
Cool.
yeah, it
I
was
enjoyed it.
nice. It was really nice. We were on, on the block with Jen was on E Black TV yesterday, and E Black is in Vegas actually. So that was a lot of fun meeting him in person, and Chef Shapino and Andrea and Green Vegan. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was just curious. So are they all from the area or they just came in?
Green Vegan and just Andrea, they're from California. Chef,
Okay.
I forgot where Chef is from. And don't get me to lie about E Black. I'm not sure where they flew in from. I'm not sure. But the girls I dealt because I kicked it with the girls a lot, so I knew where they were from or whatever. But yeah, it was a great experience. They chose a good studio. Here, I know a couple of podcast studios, and they chose a good one. I like the setup, the way they had everybody on the screen. I got their last half hour, even though E Black rented it for like 3 hours. I got their last half hour, last minute, but it was good. Yeah, when I show up, right? It's gonna be memorable. I gotta say some shit.
Yeah.
But it was
There were
nice seeing them.
lots of compliments going your way, I saw. So that was
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, that was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, they good people. You know what I mean? Despite little things that have had, they're genuinely good people, and that's what I've always liked about E Black and Chef Chapino. Even when we had our little tiff, like, oh, don't come for me, but we understood where each other was coming from and how people try to throw dirt in the game. This was years ago. Like, I mean, there's water under the bridge, the bridge that doesn't even exist anymore. So all that shit is burnt out. But it was a nice experience. I like meeting people in person after seeing them for years, literally seeing people for years online. So that was very cool, and I hope to do that more often. And you guys are coming in.
It's kind of crazy. I'm getting
It
I'm
is. It
starting to
is.
get like, oh shoot, it's here.
No, it's
It's
here.
here.
For those of you
Yeah.
who don't know what's here, On the Block with Jen will be in person under the same roof, bringing you content together under the same roof together, starting this upcoming Wednesday, August 2nd to August 9th. Okay? We will be together under the same roof, bringing you all kinds of crazy content. You're going to be quite shocked at what we drop. You're going to be very shocked. So, by all means, stay tuned and subscribe to all of us because you don't know who's going to drop it first. Oh, Tristan, what you doing? This is how he comes to visit on a Sunday.
I like it.
What's the difference? It's Sunday.
It's the good
Oh
Lord's
God,
Sunday.
right? He, I mean, this is what I tell everybody every time. When you pray to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did He answer back?
Well, I don't know. Some people, some people will say he answered, Tristan. Some people will say yes, he answered. I got that job. I got that wife. I got my cancer cured.
I'm not. I don't want to be that guy, but you ever seen that one kid that keeps calling for their stepfather to come pick them up, and he never comes?
Oh, Tristan,
What happened?
that's so sad.
That is sad.
I mean, hey, I'm gonna pray this cancer away instead of the surgeon who scoped out that big ass tumor. But hey, it is what it is.
Well, shout out to all the kids whose dad
Just
never show up and they persevered. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
The whole tepper.
It's about, I don't know, something. I feel like something in my spirit is going to drop real soon about information that I stumbled upon about certain Hotep.
Oh, well, let me tell you that character in that picture you just threw up looks like a couple of dudes that have been up here before. And
Listen,
no Saint always points them out. He's always like, he's an Israelite. And I would have no idea. I'd be so ignorant to the language and the lingo. I'm just like, he's an Israelite. He wears a purple dress.
well, Ghost, that's because I gave you a safe word for certain content creators. You have a safe word. Don't let him on the panel.
What's the safe word again?
No.
In the private chat. Oh no, that's the safe word.
No.
No.
If a person comes up, I'm going to say no. Drop that person.
Okay. Okay. So whenever I see you say no in the chat, I'm gonna be like, okay, let me drop this fool. Brother Ish, how are you? Okay, you're froze. That's how Brother Ish is on this evening. So I actually invited Brother Ish to come up because I wanted him to talk a little bit about the topic tonight. Cardi B throws microphone at fan who threw drink at her. I'm sure you've seen the video. It's everywhere. I don't have it because it's everywhere. Maybe I'll play it for you guys tomorrow if we revisit. But you guys have seen the video. She was on stage out here at Dre's. One of the clubs I do not go to. I don't like Dre's. I don't like the crowd. Surprise, surprise, this happened at Dre's, right? But there's more to the story. There's more to the story. No Saint, did you see the video?
I have not seen the video.
What? No Saints everywhere. Come on.
No, I haven't. I figured you were going to play it live.
I usually do, but I don't. Google it right now. Look at it.
Okay, as you speak.
Yeah. So this happened Saturday night at Dre's out here in Las Vegas. Cardi B was performing to a track. She wasn't even live. Like the music was. Hi, Miss Roof. The music was just playing in the background because all these pop stars lip sync, the majority of them. And she was performing, and a woman from the crowd threw a drink at her with great aim, like it hit her in the face and in the hand. And Cardi B responded by throwing her mic into the audience. Now, here's the thing. Everybody was like, oh, she got great aim. And yeah, that's what she get. Problem is, she hit the wrong person. That's the problem. So while everybody was like, oh, she got good aim. She hit it. She hit the wrong person. So can this turn into a lawsuit now? Because those microphones, as you know, especially the good microphones, are very heavy, right? So where did this woman get hit? This wrong person. So now I wanted to talk about a little bit about security and the trend. There's a trend of people throwing items at pop stars on stage as they perform, and it's not just bras and panties anymore. They're hurling water bottles, cell phones, bracelets, chains, ashes of a dead person. This is what's going on now. The new trend is to throw shit up on stage while people are performing. And I wanted to talk about, are these pop stars even safe anymore? Are performers safe on stage? Brother Ish, we got you back for good.
You got me back for good. I'm in Chicago right now, so there's a lot going on.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time. So we're talking about No Saint. You saw the video. Ish, you saw the video.
I saw the video.
Tris, you saw it?
Yeah, I just saw it, but then I saw another video where she told fans to throw water on her.
Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Brother Ish is
Oh,
gonna.
my bad. I didn't know that was like the climax.
Oh no, that's not even the climax. We'll revisit. So as far as security, what I'm thinking is getting so bad, and this could be an exaggeration, but I think it's getting so bad, it's going to be to the point where they're going to have to push the crowd further back or push the performer further back for their safety. Or they're going to have to do something even more drastic, a freaking partition on stage. So now we're going to be watching performers behind a freaking partition because, bottles, cell phones, dead person's ashes, chains, bracelets. Harry Styles got hit in the face. And I don't know, these people from the crowd, they always got good aim. They always hit their face. They always hit their face. Harry Styles got hit in the face. What's this chick's name? I believe that's country music that she sings. Don't get me to lie. But her name is Kelsey Ballerini. She was on stage very recently, and they threw a bracelet, and it hit her in the eye to where she couldn't perform anymore, and she had to be led backstage, took off her guitar, had to be led backstage. And one of the concert producers came on and said, look, great, it was a friendship bracelet, and we like friendship bracelets, but let's keep everybody safe and not throw anything anymore. But it did hit her in the eye. A couple months ago, BB Rexa, a lot of people know BB, a lot of people don't, but BB Rexa got hit in the eye with a cell phone that was hurled from the audience. She ended up getting stitches and a black eye. So this is not just like, oh, here's my hat, and then I've seen in a couple of reggaeton concerts where people are throwing their cell phones on stage, because here's the gist. Why do they do that? Why do these idiots do that? Why would you risk losing your cell phone? They do that because the performers pick up the phone and take a selfie and then return the phone. So it's like, yay, here we have Bad Bunny or Bruno Mars. He picked up my phone and took a selfie, and now it's forever in my phone. And what a better souvenir than the actual performer taking a picture of themselves with your phone, right? Oh my God. So now everybody is throwing their phones on stage, hoping that happens. So in BB Rexa's case, they threw the phone, bust her in the eye. She ended up with stitches and a black eye. It took her out. It was horrible, right? So again, if there was a partition up, or if they would push the audience back or push the performer back, then we could avoid this. And I think that's where it's going to be headed, because let me tell you, if I was performing and that should happen to me, we're done with the show. And you could blame that person in the crowd that threw it. You deal with them. And I'm walking off, right? Because it's like, I just don't understand. Pink was performing recently, and some clown threw her mother's ashes, dead ashes, on stage in a Ziploc bag. This is how ridiculous the audience is getting. So I wanted Ish up here today because he does security not only for the NOI but also for celebrities, some of which you may or may not know. He also does security. I mean, for the big Don Farrakhan, right? So you know a lot about security and how the security is supposed to protect the person. So before we move forward with what Cardi did, Ish, can you brief us as to just a couple things? I know there's some things you can't say because it's top secret, but just basic. If you were, let's say, you had to do security for Cardi B, what would that look like just generally?
Well, I mean, we start off with the basic principle that security is prevention. So as soon as you have a situation, your security is broken down. In looking at that situation with somebody like Cardi B, you know that she is very interactive with her audience, positive and negative.
Good
So
point.
there's an engagement factor that is invited when it comes to her. So that means you have to create a
Mm,
perimeter around her. You know what I mean? Somebody may want to, I don't like your car, I don't like your hair today, and she's going to respond and interact with that person. Some some entertainers ignore those type of things, and you just kind of keep things pushing. Um, so they know that there's a possibility of engagement. So it's you have to create a double layer of security for her, which means you have
mm,
to create you have to secure her and her response, but you also have to secure the basics, which is the people around, that could be invading the space or piercing your bubble.
So,
So
okay.
so you have to just be, doubly conscious, and then you have to set parameters with your client. And a lot of times, it's like, okay, these are things that, we need from you, because it's
Mm-hmm,
also the client.
mm-hmm.
It's also the client. You can't protect somebody that doesn't want to be protected.
Hmm. That's a good
You know,
point. I didn't think about that. So if something came across your desk hypothetically and you saw, okay, Tuesday is Taylor Swift, you guys got to work with Taylor Swift, and Friday you guys got to work with Cardi B, you'd be like, oh, fuck, we got Cardi B on Friday. That means we need extras.
we need extras. It's going to cost you double. It increases. I have to now also get men with a certain type of temperament, and that degree of tolerance in relationship to dealing with the type of audience that they're going to have.
Mhm.
And and then size is a factor, but see, size and skill set. So when you looking
Okay,
at Cardi B scenario,
whose size is a factor? Whose size?
the security,
Okay.
because again, sizable people cause a degree of hesitation, but it doesn't mean that they got skills. Doesn't mean that they can fight. Doesn't mean that they can move quickly. Doesn't mean that they can assess a scenario effectively and come up with alternative solutions for an egress, you know, an exit strategy. So a lot of times, there's a lot of categories you have to run down as far as the list goes when it comes to that. But I was looking at her security. She had a bunch of guys that were already there that are watching the audience, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Now you see somebody with a cup. Now a cup is not where it's supposed to be. The cup is in the air. The cup is not where you normally keep the cup, which is by your mouth or down lower, being about to be raised. So that's already a warning signal right there to me.
Oh, I didn't think about
And
that.
I'm
Interesting.
gonna identify that. And I'm gonna say, hey man, can you put that down? Because that's prevention. I'm
Mhm. Mhm.
preventing the possibility of you doing something because you're now doing something abnormal.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's you when you're really on security, and you're not just some big meathead. You're going to see those things and they're going to stand out. One of these things doesn't belong here, and that's um,
So it's interesting you say that about the size because you guys know Khaled the singer. He has a couple hit songs out. He was leaving his show and he was running. You guys can, this video is everywhere as well. Recently, he's running away. Khaled the singer is not DJ Khaled, another Khaled. He's running away. To go backstage, and the security is just running after him. Big dude, hefty dude, and he falls twice, and it
right.
just looks horrible because the guy is very overweight. So yeah, he has a big size and he's probably intimidating standing still, but he couldn't even keep up with the artist. He fell not once but twice. He couldn't even control his body weight. Like he fell once, rolled over, and then he got up, and
Right.
before he was even completely standing up, fell over again. And it's like, okay, how secure can you make this artist should something go down? So it's interesting you talk about size. So I like what you said about the cup thing. I didn't think about that. I know when I did floor managing in New York City for a nightclub, we were taught to always look at eyes and hands and demeanor. But I didn't think about the cup thing. That's interesting. Now, you did say that she's more interactive than not. Like Tristan said, there's a video where she's telling, she's out in Vegas. It's about 112 out here right now. She's outside. So she was telling her audience, oh, cool me down, throw water up here, blah, blah. Now, the thing is that they don't know whether she said that prior to the woman throwing water at her or she said it after and she was trying to save face. So we don't know. But either way, she was saying, hey, throw water at me or whatever. I'm hot. And then you see people like throwing water or what have you. But it goes back to what you said. She's more interactive with her audience than, say, a Taylor Swift. I can't picture Taylor Swift saying, hey, everybody, wet me. I can't picture that happening with her. No, Saint, you got anything else before I continue?
Um, no, I'm listening. I'm listening to
Okay.
what Ish is saying, and
Okay.
I did see the video, but I want to, I'll add some content or some input a little bit later.
Okay. So another thing, Ish, that now that we have you here, I wanted to ask you. Monica, the singer Monica, very recently was performing. A man and woman were fighting in the crowd. A lot of people just saw the Monica version of it, but I saw the man and the woman. They were like kind of wrestling each other with their hands, it was back and forth, and then the woman hits the man, and then the man hits her back. Right? Now, it wasn't a closed fist. It was kind of like the pushing, shoving, slap boxing type of situation. Monica, although she's surrounded with these big guys, like you said, she's like, hey, hey, from the stage. She stopped singing. Don't hit a woman like that. You don't hit a woman like that. She gets off stage, okay, walks in between the crowd, right? Goes up to the situation. You don't hit a woman like that. Fuck that. You know what I mean? And everybody's like, oh yeah, Monica with it. She real. And I'm thinking, stupid girl. You stupid, stupid girl. Not only do you put yourself in danger, you put your bodyguards in danger, you put people on the floor in danger. And if something would have happened, I would have been like, I hope they sue the fuck out of her because it was so unnecessary. But I know everybody has to keep it real, right? I'm from the hood. I know how that goes. Everybody, hey, right? But you are performing on stage. That shit's happening way over yonder. And if you went down, right, and the guy would have punched you in the mouth, then what? Right? Now everybody's in danger. There's a melee because now you're in the crowd, right? And everybody's going to want a piece of that. So I didn't look at it like, oh, she kept it real. Monica, because that's what you see in the comments. Monica kept it real. And I'm like, you stupid girl. You stupid, stupid girl. That's how I saw
You
it.
know, and pardon me for cutting you off there, but to chime in on that point, and then you're out of a job. Because that's for security, your client now is in the hospital or sitting around or unable to continue the tour. So now you're out of a job. I mean, ultimately, sometimes in security, you have to think for your artists,
Mm-hmm.
and they may want to jump out there and be emotional and do some sort of action or engagement with an audience. Now they're stepping into an array of variables.
Mm-hmm.
The person may have a knife on them. They may have some sort of weapon that could have injured the artist permanently. So sometimes even when your artist wants to do stuff like jump in the audience, and I've had situations like that, then you have to either you grab them and pull them back in, or if this is their thing, then you have a scenario set up for that. So it's always a preparatory that you have to think about. It's like, okay, if he's feeling, he or she's feeling in the moment, then we get out there and then we get into the audience, force our way through, create a bubble around them, and allow them to do what they want to do, perform and engage with the audience, and then get back on stage. Because the artist doesn't think about how am I going to get back. They just are
Mm-hmm.
excited in the moment, and they want to
Mm-hmm.
dive out into the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So again, security has to think a lot of times, a lot of situations, and that's why some of the rates are as high as they can be, is because you have to think for the artist at a certain point, and you have to put yourself as a shield in between that scenario. And somebody like Monica, my rate goes up for that
Mm-hmm.
automatically because she's hot-headed. She has a history of hot-headedness. You go
Mm-hmm.
through the history, you read about the artist, and you say, okay, what was the other girl from Oakland, the R&B singer?
Uh, Keisha Cole.
Keisha Cole, another one, another hot-headed individual. Those type of scenarios, you have to have some really skilled individuals, well um, minded, level-headed security that's going to be able to see a problem before it happens. That's why when you look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he never has issues because we're ahead of it all the time.
So I noticed with something Miss Ruth said in the chat, which I noticed as well. And let me see if because I want to ask you about this. I don't know the rate for this type of security, but let me see if it is in this picture. Oh, you can't tell. I covered it with the words, but something I noticed with Monica's security as well, with that incident as well with Cardi B security, the security looked lax to me. They looked like they was all kind of like hanging out on stage. You know what I mean? They looked like they were chilling. It was that type of environment. That's not. I would hate to pay for that, right? And there was a video of Taylor Swift heading to the stage, and her security was on point. I mean, that man looked like he was escorting the president, constantly looking around, looking at the crowd, looking at the floor. Like I've never seen security like that. And then people were sharing it and making fun of him, but I'm like, that's the security you want, right? But these guys, they were just like, they like hanging out on Cardi B's performing, albeit it's Dre's, it's that type of crowd. So maybe these guys aren't paid a lot. Maybe they just paid because they're really big. But what would you have done in a situation which I think gross negligence in the case of Monica, gross negligence, stupidity and selfishness. I'm sorry, because that act put so many people in danger, not just herself, but so many people in the crowd. It could have started a stampede. The guy could have had a gun and started shooting. You just don't know. Well, and not only that, what I noticed in the situation with Monica, the bodyguards helped her down. and then helped her back up, right? So what would you do in a situation where you see an artist like Monica on stage and she wants to get down and go in the crowd and walk way over yonder to where that situation is happening? As security-ish, do you like, hey, I'm being paid to go along with whatever she wants to do, or you nip it at the bud and say, Monica, Miss whatever her last name is, you cannot get off the stage. You can't get off the stage. What do you do?
Exactly. That, I mean, you basically take charge of the situation and you can't get off the stage. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I'll send a team of men to go address the issue. I'll contact the venue and have their event staff deal with the issue and make sure that it gets addressed. You stay on stage, do what you're here to do. Bottom line. That's an ultimate no. I've had circumstances. There's an iconic picture of me securing Aaliyah that has gone viral on the web, and I had a situation where we were at a club and a bunch of actresses sat at her table, ordered up a bunch of drinks and food, and then ran out on the bill.
Oh.
Aaliyah looked at me and said, I don't have that on me today. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't come here to pay for everybody. So I was like, well, okay, we'll go to the waiter, give him what you owe. That was their error. And we're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So we go do this. The waiter wants to make us think about it, because they know they're going to get stuck with the bill or get chastised. The security wants to stop her. I look at my partner that was working with me.
Mm-hmm.
He knew the instruction from that point on, get the client to the car. I said, I'm fine. I'll deal with this. And you put yourself in the lane of addressing the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Security grabbed me. I knew the owner of the security company. So he runs over. He's like, oh, because he didn't want to have a bunch of bow ties and bean pies coming up there dealing with the situation. Because that was the next phase. All I got to do is hit the bow tie signal to all the brotherhood is coming out. And we're going to smash the whole situation. But so he saw what was going on. So a few minutes later, I see Aaliyah coming back. Now I'm looking at, the brother that was with me on the detail. And I'm like, what are you doing? Aaliyah refused to leave without me. She said, we left together. We come back together. And she came, she got Lorenz tape and said, and he pulled out the money and paid for it. And that was the end of the night. But that's the only type of time that I've ever had a situation where the client doubled back.
Okay, this is the picture here. And as you can see, she is mid hurling the mic and the guys behind her are kind of like, oh, I'm just hanging out here. All right. They're just chilling. You would think if you're watching the artist and watching the crowd, you would jump to action when you see that, right? You'd be like, oh shit, she's about to hit somebody or throw something. Do you think, in your opinion, Ish, or anyone in the chat or on the panel, do you think that a lawsuit may be looming now because they're saying she hit the wrong person with the microphone? Now, they escorted the woman out who threw the water, but she hit the wrong person with the microphone, and that shit was like, boom. If you heard the microphone, the microphone connected. Okay, the microphone connected, and it was thrown from pretty far up. Do you think that a lawsuit can be in order? This woman could be like, she hit me I had nothing to do with it.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
On top of a lawsuit, that's an assault case. That's an assault. Not assault with a deadly weapon, but that's assault.
Mm-hmm.
Automatically. So, I mean, that lady could have called the police and had Cardi B arrested at that point. She was assaulted.
I would have laid there and waited for No Saint and the boys to come.
So, I mean, it's evident that Ish is a qualified security personnel, right? He's qualified. I believe a lot of these people aren't qualified. I know I was watching a documentary on the second Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically were handing out security shirts to people and say, hey, just go stand on the stage. It's just like a deterrent. But so these guys standing behind, I'm assuming weren't really trained.
Mm-hmm.
They give an appearance of, hey,
honestly, they just look like they eat a lot. They look like they eat a lot. That is what they look like.
Yeah, and really,
That's
what
a
does he
big
do?
boy.
Yeah, and to be honest, if they're security, they should be in front and not standing behind. It shouldn't be, in my opinion. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any training doing it or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
being behind, it seems like. I mean, I know that maybe they're trying to look and see out there, but it just, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give you a great anecdotal experience. There's another artist that I haven't had as a client, but I observe. I've observed a few. LL Cool J in the early years had some of the best security I'd ever seen.
Oh.
He would walk through a club, and you would think he's just walking through by himself. A fight broke out probably about 20 feet from him. Four guys grouped up together, picked him up, moved him to another side of the room, and disappeared back into the crowd. I was like, that's amazing. Because, LL wants to look approachable, and back then, the concept only of sucker needs a bodyguard, that whole situation. But ultimately, he had a solid team early on. So, I mean, you're right. It's training, it's discipline, it's having, being alert at all times. And homeboy security doesn't work. That's part of my pitch whenever I'm doing a contract.
Homeboy
Homeboy
security.
oh yeah, we're gonna get Debo from the hood because he can fight or he's big. But he has no skill sets. He has no emotional control. Doesn't have proper handling of people skills. He doesn't have any martial arts instructions. Martial arts just allows you the skill sets to know what to do and give you a series of options and circumstances. So if somebody throws a haymaker at you, you got about 4 or 5 ways you can break that person down. It
With
doesn't
that,
make you.
Ish knows what he's talking about, because with that, I'm not going to say who, what, when, where, but I was in a fisticuffs at one time, and Ish made the other person's hands just open up, boy, because it was the hair pulling, and the person had their hands in my hair, wasn't letting go, because that's how women fight, right? Women rarely fight up in a stance of any sort, right? They go straight for the hair. And lucky Ish was there, and he did this hand trick, and the woman just hands opened up and out of my hair. So we've experienced some things together. So I know Ish is good security.
and I just want to say this never these type of situations. So yeah, Cardi B, I assume is going to be sued.
You think the lady's gonna be like,
and we all remember it. It's very hard. Listen, they can be 5 issues on stage. If things really get out of hand, it's not a whole lot he's got to be able to do other than maybe get the person out of there.
Right.
But the problem is like what you see. We all remember Meta World Peace in Detroit, the Malice at the Palace or whatever. Somebody threw some drinks on him, and then this one guy's cheering, didn't throw the drink, and he's getting attacked. I mean, it was funny, the look on the guy's face when he say, "Hey, who, me?" But I mean, yeah, you're opening up. We say this a lot. They have a lot more to lose than the fan and the stand. A lot more to lose. So I don't know, but they're as far as like, I mean, we may get into this a little later. What can we do? Because I think scenarios like this, the fans are too close. They're too close to the stage.
Apparently, I mean, they're sending these people to the hospital to get stitches. they're much too close.
Yeah. I mean, you go to some concerts and you can have barricades where, and you can still see the show. It's not like you're that far back. Even if you're 25 feet back, that's not bad seats. So,
man, listen, she would hit me with that microphone. I would have been like, listen, this thug sat there. I said I was minding my business, drinking my water, and I just got hit with a microphone. I can't feel my neck, I can't feel my toes. I can't do anything. I would have made some money.
No. Oh my
I'm
God.
blind in my 4th eye. I mean, like it can go. it can go all different directions. And you're right, they do have to create, like some security events, concert events, they create these trenches, and that's why you have these gulfs of space
Mm-hmm.
between the stage, so that you don't have the option to get there, or you have layers of barricades that you got to get past to get to the stage, because one person may
Mm-hmm.
hop one barricade and then they're able to get on stage, but you might have to go through a barricade, then 5 feet, 5 to 10 feet later, there's another barricade, and then you have people in between those gaps, so that you don't have those circumstances take place, unless you're like, one of those baseball players, Sammy Sosa type cats that can
Mm-hmm.
seriously throw something, so it's just, again, you can look at the guys, you can see that they were homeboy security, you see they weren't, about their business. And again, if somebody had done that, please, that's when all bets are off. I'm gonna squash you. As soon as you throw something and say it gets past you, because circumstances can happen. We're gonna make it make you, as the minister says, a critical thinker.
Well,
You're
and
not
we
gonna
saw
want to
that
do that
happen.
again.
We saw that happen with Dave Chappelle when that
That's
man
right.
ran up on the and they twisted him up pretty bad. They twisted him up pretty badly. Um, uh, Ish, how would you go about escorting one of these pop stars and celebrities in and out of a crowd? How many security do you have to have?
I mean, you can do something. You can do something with as minimally as three, or three to
Hmm.
four is always good. As a we call you have different things, different terminologies. There's a diamond. There's a thing called a wedge. But then it's not just a factor of just escorting. There's also a principle that you have to deal with, because again, when you're dealing with the crowd, you're outnumbered. You're
Hmm.
absolutely outnumbered, and you can be overwhelmed, and you have to just be very aggressive in your movement and intentional. Like, you have to keep moving. There's no like stop, pause, excuse me, sir and ma'am. There's a point where you're pushing, elbowing, stepping on whoever you got to do to get your principal out of there, and I've had to do that on a number of occasions.
Miss Ruth asks you, Ish, would you if Cardi B wanted to hire you, would you take the job?
um at probably 2,500 a day.
And that would be a team of how many?
Probably just not knowing, just a blind number. I would probably say a team of like 8 to 10.
8 to 10 for
Eight
2,500 a
to
day.
Yeah, per
Okay.
man, per
Okay.
man,
Per man.
you know, per
Oh,
man. Like,
okay.
because again, you got to have good people at that point, and people, and those that have skills. And it's not about even somebody being armed or unarmed. It's thinkers. It's
Right.
it's 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 all about thinkers at that point. So to get cats like that have those skill sets, because again, even people say, "Well, I want an armed guard." Once you pull out that gun, you've already failed in your aspect of preventing a situation of happening.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
that you have to have people who think ahead, and that's expensive. That's
Tacticians.
Yeah, and
tacticians.
and you want, like Ish is saying, you want people that know what they're doing. He mentioned egress earlier. Um, you want someone who's not just sitting there looking at the fans. You want them looking at, okay, if this happens, where's the person at? What's the best way to get him out of? You've got to be really thinking at all times, not just sitting there enjoying the music. So that's why these guys in the background, they probably, like he said, they're probably just like the entourage or whatever, and not expecting anything to happen because nothing happened the night before. But you got to
Right.
always be ready for something to happen, and that's the thing. And so someone like Ish, he's right. That's why he's I assume pretty good at what he does, because he's constantly monitoring everything. He's looking around, looking at all. You got to be looking for what everybody else isn't looking at. You got to be looking at.
And Ish, can you describe for us? You said that you described two. Oh, did we lose Ish again? I don't know if he's driving. That's why. Yeah. So again, looking at these guys, these could even be like Vegas locals. That security. You know what I mean? She's probably not even like flying these guys in. Those could be Vegas locals. As you described earlier, the formation of a diamond and a wedge. Can you explain to us what that is? Can't hear you. Salute, chemo. Yeah, we still can't hear ya.
You might have to go out and back in, or
It's
go
probably
off.
because you're driving or something. What's up, chucking and jiving TV? So I'm curious as to. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds the next couple days, because I know the person that hit BB Rex in the face with the phone and cut her eye and all of that, he got locked up. Ish.
There he
Okay,
is.
I can hear you, Ish. So I was saying, I don't know if you got my question, but you were talking about what a diamond is and what a wedge is, and I wanted you to describe it. If let's say if you're escorting a celebrity or whatever, a public figure, can you describe what a diamond is versus a wedge? What does that look like?
Okay, so a diamond is a four-man team. It looks like to make it simple, just imagine a plus sign.
Mm-hmm.
And at the top of the plus sign, you have one man in the center where the axis cross. You have your principal, and to the right there's a person, to the left there's a person, and there's a person in the rear, and that they cover their zones. The man on the right is not looking to his left. He is primarily responsible for all engagement that takes place on the right. He
Mm-hmm.
also has additional responsibilities depending upon your infrastructure of either he's maintaining, uh, he's the one-to-one with the principal at all times. So if the three others get injured or something, or they get taken out, the principal knows to stay with that person.
Hmm.
So that's that, like Kevin Costner in Bodyguard. You can have four or five guys there, but the one that you listen to, that keys in and guard, that controls the whole movement of all activities, that's who you respond to. And so with that, just that's the diamond. You have your point at the top of the diamond, the lead person that's going through the crowd or piercing the crowd. He's also looking for potential threats. He's walked that route multiple times, so he knows any changes that may have taken place. He's eyeballing if there's strange packages, if there's a weird person standing around, all those type of things. He's responsible for getting you from point A to point B. The person at the rear is also blocking any possibility of somebody attacking you as well. Normally, you want tall people for that. A wedge, I won't bore you with all the specifics, but a wedge is a three-man team, and it kind
Mm.
of functions like a triangle. And that's normally what you're doing is you're piercing through a crowd. You're just moving, constantly moving, to get them through the crowd. You never want to be in a situation where your back is to a wall and you got 500 people in front of you. They're gonna squash you, trample you, rip your clothes off, whatever. So it's always, let's get out of here. And
Okay.
like I'll give you a historical example as well. Minister was in the Middle East, and he was speaking in a Muslim mosque in the Middle East. And I don't know which country. I can't recall which country. And they get very excited. And it's not stages and barricades. It's like you're standing in a room with like a little microphone and a little podium.
Mm.
And they got excited, and one cat jumped up. He got caught midair, and he got put down. And it was, let's get him out of here. And the crowd is all agitated and wanting to touch him and reach him. And as they're going through the crowd, it's pow, bam, like getting him out. We're not gonna let anybody touch the minister, and we get him in the car, and then we out of there.
Okay. No, Saint, you were nodding your head. Are you familiar with the diamond and the wedge?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I knew, yeah. When he said it, that was what I pictured too. Just because it's one's with four, one's with three. So, but I didn't know all the ins and outs. Like he was explaining it exactly what the back. I didn't realize the back guy is usually tall, But yeah, that's what I figured.
There's a
What's
lot of
what?
nuances and that
It's just on the Puerto Rican Wi-Fi.
I'm gonna call Cat on this.
Uh-oh. I think
We
he's
could
back.
hear you
Well, good.
or not. There you go. Are you back? It's
Well,
probably
when he comes
because
with
you're
the
driving.
video, yeah. When he comes with the video,
Yeah.
there we go.
It's probably because you're driving. Um, are you back? Okay. Okay. So Chemo says, I don't think that was her personal security. Probably not. I don't think those guys are probably Vegas locals or guys that work at Dre's.
All I'm gonna say is wearing black in that Vegas heat isn't the best choice. I imagine they're miserable. I looked up the video with Khaled.
Did you see it? That was
That was funny.
terrible. It was terrible. I
It's
was
like when
like,
the guy can outrun his security, something ain't right.
right. Like, no, fired that day. I wish you well. And I'll give you like coupons to a buffet and shit. But yeah, you and I are done. Isha, you back? You still stuck? Isha stuck. Um, yeah, I did have another question for Ish. So, again, I just like to see how this thing is going to unfold, and is it going to be part of the writer now? I have to be a certain amount of feet, away from the crowd because it's going to get, in my opinion, more and more dangerous. Because here's the thing: even if you apologize, even if you spend the weekend in prison, it's still a clout chase. You can still gather a following from being the person that threw the water at whoever it was, or threw the ashes at whoever it was, right? And now come to find out wasn't even the right person, that she hit the microphone. So now that's another story, right? But I would not be surprised if she was sued behind it. But
Well, for sure. I don't know how she couldn't get sued because it's on video and they can play the sound of the mic hitting, hitting the person. But no, for sure, you can minimize crowds by distance. When you go into games now, uh, they have containers. You don't, it's not no longer bottles. If it's in like a plastic cup, and you're enough distance away, it's not gonna make it to the stage. That cup and that liquid's just gonna, you might hit the people in front of you. So I mean, there's things they can do. It almost looked. Well, it obviously was an outdoor event. It's yeah. That didn't look like it was a. I mean, for what's going on today. I mean, there's plenty of concerts like that, but for what's going on, where it seems like people are now just throwing things up there to get signed, throwing things up there to take selfies, getting a little drunk and decides to throw a drink just for clout, yeah, they're gonna have to. It's gonna get more restrictive.
We lost Tristan. He said my laptop blew too hot here. Yeah, man. Everybody, listen. Equipment is shutting down everywhere. What's the craziest call you got so far? No say.
Craziest call?
Mm-hmm. Anything related to the heat? No.
Not no. Yeah, there's always anything. Listen, heat will dictate a lot. So sure, we've had some medicals and things like that, and probably due to the heat, but people passing out or but
heat exhaustion.
Oh man, listen, it hit 99 today. It's supposed to hit 99 tomorrow. It's crazy right now.
Yeah, but speaking of sports, I never understood why. Where that little tunnel where the players go back to the locker room, like it's in between audience here and audience here, so they can throw all kinds of shit as the players are walking by. I don't know why they don't have like something covering that tunnel. I never understood that.
Well,
because
okay, go ahead.
because engagement with the talent is a factor for the fans. It's just because they easily can put some sort of tarp up that could protect the players, and they still want to have that engagement with the audience at the
It's
end of the day.
dangerous. They're too close. Like every time I see them, like every time there's like some vitriol going on and I see the players going back through that tunnel, I get anxious because I'm like, people throw popcorn, they throw cups, they throw drinks.
Well, let me tell you what happens. There is right where the tunnel is. There, at least in the places I've been, there is a tarp, and that section of the fans a little further back. But not just that. As soon as there's going to be people exiting the court, they usually have security that starts lining up where they're going to come, where they're going to go into the tunnel.
Mm.
They'll have them in the stands as well. Like they'll be watching.
Are they in the stands now too? Because I've
Yeah, like
seen people throw popcorn and all kinds of shit.
just before the quarter in or the half ends. Yeah, they'll all of a sudden you'll see like the security start lining up in the rows to to make sure if someone does throw, they're gonna find they're gonna know who did it, and so they kind of try to deter it that way.
And sometimes, if you remember that one situation where the lady was sitting in the audience, the security, and the person was about to do something, and they jumped on them and tackled them before they were able to do it. Like that's the attentiveness that you have to have, and they have those scenarios now where they have certain key people that are there to kind of like, okay,
I think I
this is what.
remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen some people get tackled real bad. Like some security is on point. They will tackle you and bum rush you right off the stage. I've seen that, but I've seen a lot of them be lax as well because it's almost like they're sitting back, like, well, nothing happened yesterday, and then so it's like I'm just standing here. No, I need that Taylor Swift security. That dude looked crazy. He
I
looked
mean,
like, yeah, I want something to happen.
Jay-Z was good for that, having a good solid team, and and so does Diddy. Diddy has a great team with him right now. Definitely.
Because
That's a
I think
great
that
team
guy
with him.
is that cousin that's always running around with Beyonce. I think he's whack, but he's like related to them somehow. But I just see him like he's tall. But I've seen them in situations like going to and fro the car, and I'm like, that guy's not enough.
Right, but sometimes, a lot of times you don't see everybody. That's the other
Oh,
thing.
well, that's
So
true too.
you don't see everybody. So I mean, but let me say this: fans are weird. So there's a term called open air access time that you don't want to have, and I really, I at some point I was doing security for Eddie Murphy, and we had at the moment we would make decisions in the moment, just drive around because he home to set, he's going from home to hotel. I mean, from hotel to set because they want to keep
Hmm.
him in a certain proximity.
Hmm.
And we made a determination: no, we're not going to go the regular way that we normally go, and we're going to go and pull up right here. And you had fans and paparazzis popping out of bushes, and it was like that was a split second, last minute decision. But these cats are weird, and they're everywhere. It's just strange. So, you know, it's 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 a challenging field of endeavor. Security is, and you have to really be very mindful at the end of the day. Like I said, homeboy security doesn't work. So
Hmm.
you know, but a lot of people don't want to pay either. That's the other thing. A lot of times they don't want to pay until it's a problem.
Right. So I can imagine they just gonna get like the homeboys. Like the homeboys got guns. We'll be all right.
Right, and what happens? You got the guy from the Migos who gets shot by the cat that was supposed to be securing him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was an accident.
Right.
Hmm. It was an
I mean,
accident.
right. So ultimately, that again, that's where it's problematic. When you start to see that they become too comfortable, sometimes you have to rotate people out.
But oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think that's what Beyonce did with her whole dance team because everybody's gone. All them dancers that were with her for years, none
Hmm.
of them are on the Renaissance tour. She switched everybody. Thank you so much, Miss Ruth, for the super chat. Miss Ruth says, "Good show tonight. Good panel. Thank you." Um, yeah. So what's the worst? What's the worst scenario you've been in, Ish, and how did you get out of it? What's the worst scenario you've been in with a celebrity? With
Summer Jam. Summer
Summer
Jam.
Jam.
And I think it was Bone Thugs and Harmony or one of those kind of like super entourage groups that just came in with like 40, 50 people.
Hell
Um,
no.
and just turned into a thing, and it's up there on YouTube, and we really fought our way through that one, and that one was challenging. The other one was the Tupac situation that you see in the movie at the backstage of the Soul Train Awards. Um, that situation, what happened, we got word that Suge Knight was on the other side of the gate. My team was there, and I said, "Well, don't let him in the gate, in the back gate.
Mhm.
Lock the gate, and
Mhm.
then I'll get Biggie out. So when we open up the gate to let Suge, because they all have tickets and passes and the whole nine, we let him in. We're gonna escort Biggie out the other gate. Biggie takes his time because he doesn't want to leave C's and all these other people. And I'm
Mhm.
like, Big, we need you to go. We need you to go. Come on, we gotta go. And he's like, I'm not leaving until So we go through that whole process. The Somewhere somehow one of Don Cornelius' staff was concerned and let uh, um, the Hummer in that Tupac was in, and Tupac was in a Hummer full of a bunch of different Bloods. Now,
Oh,
the
what can go wrong?
right. So but see, these are the details that people are not aware of. Suge Knight was smart enough that everybody was dressed in like the red and the sweatshirts and the tennis shoes. They weren't carrying guns. The ones that had the guns were in suits and
Mhm.
tuxedos.
Mhm.
And because we kind of have engaged with Suge's team periodically, I knew who was carrying. I knew who, and we were able to get to them quickly. And as long as you get your hands on the gun, you're not gonna get it from my hand at all.
Mm.
I'm gonna grip your hand, your wrist. I'm gonna dive my palm right into that whole scenario, and I'm gonna lock it down so you can't even pull. And if you
Mhm.
and if I can finger my trigger, if I can finger behind your trigger, you can't even pull the trigger. And I'd rather the slider jam the single of the middle of my palm. I mean, the space between my forefinger and my thumb, than to have a bullet go out. So those are the dynamics that, again, it goes into training, it goes into knowing what to do, and again, sacrificing yourself. We ultimately, it was just a few, hey, what's up, we here now, that kind of situation. We were able to alleviate it. Um, but again, that keeping it real, I want to hang out. So first thing you got to tell your client. That's why Biggie got shot where he got shot. It was easy. He was sitting on the middle of Wilshire Boulevard when he got shot at the Vibe party in his car, waiting for somebody to get in the car.
That's
There's no
crazy.
there's no protection. Somebody drives down the street, shoots at the car. You can look at the placement of the bullets and how it was. It was somebody who's a well seasoned shooter.
Mhm.
Wasn't just some cat just spraying bullets in the air. And that's why, the unfortunate happened with Biggie. You know,
Hmm.
and that's the thing. You have to kind of, isolate your artist, and you have to have an artist that's going to submit to your guidance.
Hmm. So you have to be like Whitney Houston and faint in Kevin Costner's arms. Take me out.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
So you knowing me the way you do, check the private chat, guys. So it's you knowing me the way you do for so many years, my history and everything. How much would you charge me?
um,
I didn't
I
like that laugh. I didn't like that laugh.
honestly, let me say this about you, Jen. You it's not the chart. You're smart enough, even when you're in a situation, you're smart enough to know when it's like, hey, I'm gonna submit to those who know better. And even when you're ready, you got a hair trigger, you're ready to get down at any moment's notice, and you don't fear anyone. So that aspect is good. But that if somebody that you're entrusting, I've
Mhm.
seen it, we've experienced it, that
Yeah.
I'd say, hey, it's time to go. You'll be like, okay, let's go. You know what I mean? So that's an aspect. You do have a degree of a switch that you can control, but some people don't. And that's, so with you, it'd be a standard, a decent rate, but we, again, I would have my best team there to keep an eye on
I don't
her,
like how
brother.
that sounds.
She get around you real quick. She will do a Cardi B, so be careful.
Oh my god. Okay, I may do a Cardi B, but I would not do a Monica. I am not getting off stage, walking through a crowd, okay, to confront a man that already hit a woman that I don't even fucking know.
Right,
I don't even fucking know those people.
right,
Now that I
right.
would not do. Miss Ruth said I need a SWAT team. Then see now y'all dragging and trolling me. See,
But I'll
see.
say this, and I know that that even when you look at the president, and you look at what happened to Ronald Reagan, which was a great training lesson to understand when he got shot. You never know what can happen, and you always have to be very alert and very well prepared. Even if you have security, and I just came from a security training seminar. So that's one of the reasons why I'm out here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to stay updated. You got to stay updated on the new weapons, the new technology, new things that are happening. And there's a very key aspect that you have to be mindful of when you're in a public environment. This is for everybody that's watching the show. You have to always be aware of your surroundings and think about how you can get out. We went through an active shooter training. Most people successfully survive active shooter situations when they actually attack the shooter. That shooter is not actually expecting to be attacked. Now, we're not
Right.
saying that everybody does that, but like you run, you hide, you lock yourself away for cover and all that. But say, for instance, you're now in a room and he kicks in the door. You will have a
Break.
fire extinguisher, you have a trash can, you have a chair, and you go after that person because they're not expecting people to go after them. They feel that they have the control position, they feel that they're
Yeah.
dominant, or they're not in their right mind. And one thing you'll always learn is pain will help anybody that's not in their right mind. It really will.
Definitely.
If I got a crazy person, I hit him the right way. I put a pressure point. His hand opens up because he reacted to pain. Everybody's going to react to some form of pain, and that changes your condition and your circumstances, and you can survive. So there's a lot of information that's out there that's available, and this world is getting very crazy, and there are a lot of weapons out there. So everybody, don't get informed as much as possible. Get trained, do some martial arts, stay exercising, stay fit, and don't get too drunk when
Mm-hmm.
you're out there drinking, because you never know when you're going to have to sober up really quick and save your
Right.
life.
Right. Sheesh. Amen. Amen. Atheist. Amen. All of that is great advice. I'm laughing because someone said who was, I think it was Abby, that said they're going to start putting chicken wire around the stage like they do at rowdy bars.
Right, right.
No, I mean, as far as surviving, like what Ish is talking about, they've changed a lot, especially the way things have gone in the last 20 years, because they used to tell you different things before. They used to tell you never, always stay calm, don't make any false. Now they're telling you what Ish is saying. No, you got to evaluate the situation, because sometimes it's somebody, and we've seen it all too often now, where they're looking to take out as many people as they can. So you listening to them, as they walk you to the freezer is not a good idea anymore. You know what I mean? So he's right.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he's absolutely right. We're going to be taking tactical training for active shooters, even though I'm not a police officer, where that we go in with the officers, and
Right.
so we take, like Ish said, we take all kinds of active shooter drills and security, and it's not like it used to be. It's not like it used to be.
You
Let
got to
me.
do that with your family, and just, I'm sorry, you got to do that with your family. Your principle now is your family, your children, your wives, your husbands. Everybody needs to know. Everybody has to be on the same page.
Mhm.
Understand, if somebody comes and attacks the house, one voice is guiding everything. You know what I mean? Like, you have to really go through those drills. This is that day and age that we're in right now. So if you got your family, don't think that you can call the police. They're not going to get there for 20, 30, 45 minutes, depending on how busy they are. So
Yep.
you're going to have to be able to have safe zones, have strategies in place to secure your family.
And I'll
So
say that, do that, and I can even throw in with a fire situation with your family. Make sure you discuss where to meet in the event you have to escape a fire in your house, because a lot of times it's scattered. You think your kids are still in there. You go back in, and you end up dying because you thought your kids were still in there, but your kids got out the window. They just didn't meet. You had no meeting spot. Like he said,
Wow.
you have to plan. You have to discuss these things with your family. He's on point.
So like my friend Mickey Schutch, he's a friend of On the Block with Jen. He has the Carrie Trainer YouTube channel. Great guy. He says all the time, be your own Calvary. He's the one that hooked me up with Boresight Solutions. Been over at Boresight Solutions. Not only upgraded my guns, but gave me a lot of pointers for that. But going back to Mickey Schutch, he's always giving those pointers like be your own Calvary. When you go to a restaurant, look at the exit signs. You're at a concert, look at the exit signs. Find out how, what's the quickest way to go. Barricades, look at barricades. Also, if you're at the airport and you hear shots or something like that, don't run towards, you know what I mean? Don't panic and run towards the gunshots, which sometimes people do because they don't know where it's coming from. Stay with the crowd. So there are a lot of little things, and it's funny because my daughter's like, "Ma, you paranoid?" I'm like, "Listen, this is the way things are going. It's just better to be, you know what I mean, have the knowledge and not need it than need it and not have it." And it may sound like paranoia, but it can save your child's life. It can save your spouse's life. It can save your mother's life. It really can, and it's something simple as once a month meet with the family and be like, "Where are we supposed to meet if X, Y, and Z happens? Where are the weapons if X, Y, and Z happens? Where's the extra phone if X, Y, and Z happens? Right? Can you stop a wound from bleeding?" It sounds like paranoia, but it can really save a life. And that's why I love what Mick says, because he's like, be your own Calvary. Because like Ish just said, the cops may not show up, or they may be somewhere else taking care of something that's crazier than what's going on with you, and you don't want to be a sitting duck. You just don't.
it's not paranoia, it's preparation. That's it. You're
I
prepared.
like that. There it is. Not paranoia. It is preparation. And you'd be surprised. Like, listen, sometimes things go down. There's no electricity. Everybody's phone is dead. Where are we supposed to meet? I don't know, because we didn't plan it. I can't call
Exactly.
you. You can't call me. I don't know where you are. Last time I checked, you were at work. Are you still down at the office? You went to the mall. Are you still at the mall? Where do we meet? It's very, very important. Like, you don't think about these things till shit happens. But let me tell you, a lot of people that are not with us today, had they had a plan, they would still be alive, especially with all these mass shootings and all of that. You need a fucking plan. I don't, Ish, I'm with you. I don't like the idea of like just being a sitting duck. Like, okay, gunman, what do I do now? I mean, if someone is running in, you know what I mean, with an AK, he's committed. Safe to say, he's committed. There's a manifesto somewhere. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. And I'm always alert. And I listen, the guys around me, that's how you gotta be. No saint. You could stop a wound from bleeding, I'm sure. So salute to you as well. Um, yeah, guys, but it's things to think about. As far as Cardi B, she's probably going to get sued. I don't see why the woman wouldn't sue her. It's easy money. She hit the wrong person, right? Lost her temper, hit the wrong person. Also, she just sued somebody and won 4 million. She's probably going to have to pay that forward to the lady she hit with the microphone. So you have to be mindful, and we can lose our tempers, but as I've learned many a day, it's like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? That's
Absolutely.
bait.
That's the question. That's the question.
That's bait. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they know that you have money, and not even like I said earlier, not even on some lawsuit shit. Just they want clout. I want to be the girl that's known for throwing the water, because now you're gonna come to my Instagram page and see who the girl is who threw the water, right? But again, like you said, Cardi B is very interactive, and she was on stage saying, "Cool me off, throw water up here, throw water up here," and somebody said, "Okay." Right? So
Hmm.
Miss Ruth says, I love Cardi. Ooh, ooh.
Again, those artists are problematic, and they're hard to, if you're a serious security professional, and we all talk. I was talking to Tyrese of security today,
Mhm.
and we're just talking about all the things that are going on, and you know he was discussing all the dynamics that go on with a client like that, and things that now he has to kind of get involved and engage in, like, no, we can't do that, no, we're not, no sir, no, 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 you know what I mean? And there's ways you can do that if you've established a trusted relationship with your client,
Mhm.
you know and you can't be a what, for lack of a better term on the racial context, a yassa boss. You can't be that. It's like, look, you're either going to trust me or you're not. You're either going to allow me to be why, to be that voice of reason and prevent a situation of happening. You're gonna have a boring night tonight. Sorry, we're
Mhm.
gonna get
Mhm.
you right into the car. You went to the movies with your
Mhm.
family. You got right into the car. We got you
Mhm.
home. Job well done. And
Mhm.
that's how I like to. I tell clients sometimes that a lot of times they think, well, nothing happened.
Mhm.
We were successful. I don't need security. Nothing happens. I said that means you have good security because nothing
Mm.
happened.
Okay.
Nothing.
We have Ronan Group joining us. There's an echo.
An echo? Oh,
Testing. Oh, yeah, there's an echo.
uh,
Are you listening to us in the background somewhere?
I was.
Testing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
Test.
How are you?
I am doing great, my friend. How are you? Oops, wait a minute. I turned off the light here.
I'm really good.
Yeah. And
Glad that you could join us. Let the people know who you are and what you do.
my name is Anthony Burnside. I'm the owner of Ronan Group. I'm an EP operator and investigator, former law enforcement officer. Uh, but I was EP for a long, long time, even before I got into law enforcement. So I've been listening to the show. Really, the gentleman from the FOI, is he still here?
He is. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I got a lot of respect for the FOI and their security team for the minister. I've seen you guys in action. You guys are really good. And hello to the gentleman in my direction, upper right, and of course, hello to my good friend Jen.
How you doing, Anthony? Now, Anthony, you were actually security for Cardi B at one point.
Yeah, a few years ago, I did some stuff a few years ago. Yeah,
How was that interaction?
it was interesting. Each principal is a very interesting person. So, um, uh, you custom fit the security around the person,
Mm-hmm.
and you make them safe as they move through the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their quirks. Everyone has, you just, what's the word I'm looking for? You just assimilate the best way you can, you know. But I mean, she was always very nice,
Mm-hmm.
very sweet. You know, I have nothing bad to say. It's a really
Okay.
great person. But
Now,
each detail has their challenges. I'm sure
right,
on the panel can tell you that.
right. That was my next question. YouTube Press says again, don't care for Cardi B, but I think she deserves a pass. Being angry is a natural emotion. So I don't care about that. But what she's not going to get a pass on is she hit the wrong person. That's the thing. I mean, microphones
No,
hurt.
that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. I haven't heard reports that she
Mhm.
did. I've only heard it from two sources. That was
Mhm.
you and another friend who lives in Vegas.
Mhm.
Obviously, you don't want to. I mean, you don't want to hit anyone,
Right.
But there's just some things. No protection is 100%. You try to reduce the possibility of an AOP or assault on principle, reduce it to the possibility of zero. You want to harden the target as much as possible. You can only do so much, and then the threat matrix changes. Look what happened to former President Bush over the Middle
Mhm.
East when someone threw a shoe at him.
Right, the shoes, right? Yes,
Yeah,
that's
who
right.
accounts for when you're conducting your threat assessment, your advance? You don't think about that. So there's always something new on the horizon. We saw what happened with Ava Max at the Fonda Theater recently, where the guy walked up on the stage.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that was at a theater I operated at last July in LA.
Mhm.
That, when you have your security elements, it's important to deploy them effectively. You want to cover all the holes, so to speak. You try to determine where the attack can come from, and then you mitigate the threat in that area. But things happen. I posted on my LinkedIn. Usually, when things like this, I do a little post on my LinkedIn.
Mhm.
You had some celebs who let the fans throw their phones up and take pictures with it, take selfies. I
Yep.
think that's a bad idea, and I think
Yep.
that opened the floodgates to people throwing objects on the stage. We saw what happened to Drake. We saw what
Yep.
happened to BB Rexa.
Yeah,
Um,
that was pretty bad.
yeah, Harry Styles.
Mhm.
You have
Miley
some
Cyrus,
Miley
Justin
Cyrus,
Bieber. Mhm.
Justin Bieber. Sometimes some certain people are starting to feel emboldened, and that changes the game. I think you guys were talking about Dave Chappelle earlier.
Yes.
Um, I know when I conduct an operation, I know that I try to um, keep our 25-foot buffer zone. Attacks happen within 25 feet or less.
Mm.
You want to have that buffer zone so you'd be able to have your proper reaction time. Action is always quicker than reaction, so you never want
Mhm.
to be on the side of a bad call. Um, Looking at what happened at Dre's, I look how the security was situated. To me, just from
Mhm.
my vantage point, they seem to be doing their job. No one thought, I mean, the way that the person had that cup in the air, I mean, that's just out of that one guy's line of sight. You know, the ice comes out, Cardi reacts, there you go. Um, there's just some things you can't plan for. And then after it happens, once bitten, twice shy. You plan for that now. But,
Mhm.
like the gentleman said earlier, you remove the bottles, you put them in cups. That mitigates if someone tries to throw something on stage, it won't hurt or it won't make it, so it changes. And I heard the gentleman, I think it was I wasn't sure which gentleman it was, but he talked about, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're fine. Mhm.
But he talked about, I think it's raining here where I'm from, so it's kind of loud.
We could hear
Uh,
it. It's okay.
yeah, you can't. The point is, you want to mitigate as much as possible. You want to move them in the bubble. Um, Dealing with the crowd, I'm not sure how big the crowd size was.
Mhm.
Um, Anything, I just lost my train of thought. Anything can, just so much going on my side. Anything can happen. The key is to mitigate the threat as much as possible.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
you want to mitigate as
YouTube.
the principals say. What's that?
Yeah. No, 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 I'm reading a comment. YouTube Press says she was assaulted, though heat of the moment. She reacted, pay any medical expenses, if any, call it a push. Well, she wasn't assaulted by the woman she threw the mic at. That's the problem. And we all are in the heat of the moment, but they got laws and courts for
Right.
that,
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately.
you
Unfortunately,
can't
there's laws and
listen.
courts for that.
That's what I was gonna say. There's the is you can try to frame it any way you want by your thought of what this person should, but the problem is you can be mad at somebody and do road rage and hit somebody else, and you're going to pay for that. It doesn't matter that you were in the heat of the moment. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do want to ask,
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh no, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, Ish, are you busy?
No, I'm just moving around. Go ahead. You can talk.
Okay, cool. Because I do have this question for Anthony and for you. I like this comment. Abby said, this is something that I wanted to address. Abby says, I think with the internet and artists making statements and personal stuff, it lends itself to fans and not fans, right? To get to know you too much. And that makes people emotional with ill intentions. Have you guys seen a change at all in what your jobs entail with the explosion of social media? Is now social media a part of, well, now the fans feel like they know these people, they can be more hands-on, they can be more on them, throw their phones, give them their phones, touch them, feel them, talk to them. Have you seen a change at all in the work that you do with the explosion of social media and artists divulging so much information from their address to where they shop, to where they eat, to what they do, to where they're going to be? Have you seen a change in that at all or no? You
I
have.
have. Yeah. I have. Yeah.
I would say absolutely in relationship to that, because what happens now, we're controlling as best we can where the framing of some images that they put out there, because then that starts to expose where we are, what we're doing. People are very detailed and meticulous on it, and they don't have time. They have the time on their hands to say, "Oh, I know where that check cashing place is," or "I know where this restaurant is," and you know, we even have, sometimes you have directives of like no social media until the next following day, to
Mm.
just, like if we're
Right.
traveling, after we've left that city, then you can post about being in that city because we're no longer
Right.
there. So there are different nuances, that, you just have to adapt and adjust to, just like you said, once bitten, twice shy. Absolutely. So it's a constant state of adjustments, it's a constant state of awareness, and then you start adding more things into, um, you start utilizing some of the tools. Sometimes you start incorporating drones in what you're doing so that you have a wider perspective on the environment. It's a lot, it's a lot that's available
Hmm.
that we adapt to now.
Anthony, what would say you about that, social media and celebrities? Is there a delay? Anthony, can you hear me? I think we lost connection with Anthony. Yeah, I think Anthony is froze. I was thinking about PNB Rock, but because people were saying the reason why he got killed was because he posted, or his girlfriend posted, and then he posted. But I don't know. After investigating, they were saying that those guys were already out there and they knew the neighborhood and they recognized him. So, you know, I mean, but that's what got Pop Smoke murdered in California. He posted some bags or whatever, and the address was on the Airbnb, and that is how they found where he was, because he did post the address unknowingly. He posted the address on social media, and they went and got him. So yeah, it's and not just for celebrities, mi gente, but a lot of you guys travel, and the first thing you want to do is post when you're at the airport. It's the first thing y'all do. I'm traveling, and blah blah. It's like you can't help it. You got to take the pictures with the suitcase with your feet on it and the Gucci bag, and I'm flight this. I'm flying from here to there, which is fine, but I would advise you do that when you get back. Do it when you get back, right? Because now you're telling the world there's no one at my house. There's no one with my kids.
Exactly.
There's no one with my kids. My garage is free for you to, sneak. Stop doing that. Even for regular people, it's a dumb thing to do. Like, information overload. You tell much too much online. You get too comfortable, and you never know who's watching. There's always a predator. Always a predator. Like always, right? So you don't want to be doing that. People don't have to know every move you make. The attention feels good, I know, but people don't have to know every move you make when you're moving it. I mean, when you're doing it. Okay, guys, I think we're just about, I didn't expect this stream to be this informative. This was some kick-ass information all the way around from all three gentlemen on the panel. I salute you and I thank you, and everything we said here tonight is extremely important. So share it with your family and your friends. Don't be a sitting duck. Don't wait till this shit happens. You like, Jen told me 6 months ago to have a meeting spot. I should have listened. You know what I mean? Do that with your family, especially when people work outside of the house. No Saint, you said in a fire. That's true. Everybody's running out. You think your kids are in there, you run back in, your kids climbed out the back window. So it's little things like that that you guys need to know. It takes nothing but a freaking conversation. Tell everybody to put their phones down and have that conversation. It's extremely important because the world is haywire right now. As you guys know, it's haywire. So thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being here. Meet us here mañana, same bat time, same bat channel. We will be back our usual time, which is what, 6 p.m. No say 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST. Right?
Yes, that's it.
We'll be back tomorrow, and we will revisit this subject because I'm sure there's going to be some more developments and people are going to get to talking. Probably the girl that threw the water and the girl that got hit with the mic, they're going to get to talking. So we'll probably have more developments on this tomorrow. Thank you so much for that that insight, Ish. I had no idea that's how they did some of the things that they did. Very, very interesting. But yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah, Ish is that dude because I've experienced it personally, and it's legit, right? I'm vouching. Thank you so much, Anthony Burnside, for coming up and sharing your experiences as well. You're welcome to the panel whenever you like. It doesn't always have to be about this subject, but I know you work with a lot of celebrities as well, and we talk about celebrities a lot up here too, trending topics and
Thank
stuff.
you so much.
So,
I really appreciate it.
absolutely. Good to see you. And good to see you, chat. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. We love you all. Okay, salute. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you here
Good night.
mañana. Good night,
Good
guys.
night, everybody.
Night.
Good night. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out for mama. And if you enjoyed this show and you're catching the replay, hit my Cash app to support us and help mama keep the street lights on. All right, guys, I see you all next week. And don't forget, August 2nd, this Wednesday, August 2nd, the whole block is going to be together under the same roof at the same time, the same bat channel. So we're all going to be together in the same house, bringing you all kinds of exclusive content. All right. So the block is going to look different starting Wednesday, and I hope that you join us so you can get to see us all together. Me, Lily, Haran, No Saint, a couple of other friends. Okay. All right, guys. Good night. Bye, Tristan. See you guys next week.